Hi, my name's Jamin Goecker. I'm a local realtor in South Central Alaska, and today we're going to be talking about the real estate market update in Eagle River, Alaska. This is going to be one of the biggest real estate markets in this specific area in South Central Alaska, and it's definitely showing signs of being impacted by the pandemic. Some of the things that we saw kind of surprised even me, and I had some suspicions about what to expect going into it. So this is definitely stuff you want to know if you're looking at moving up here or if you're looking at selling anything in the near future. Before we get started though, make sure that you do give this video a like, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure that if you have any questions you want to ask directly to me, make sure that you message me through my Facebook page, which the link for that is going to be down below. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Getting started, what we see is we're seeing a dip in the number of houses that are on the market right now in Eagle River. Looking specifically from mid-June, June 15th, up to the present time, July 15th. So, kind of a dip in inventory, that's to be expected. A lot of people just really aren't sure even yet if they should be getting their houses on the market. Some of them might have medical issues, so it might not be a good time for them to aggressively look at getting their house on the market with the potential of strangers kind of dropping through the house, even with all the precautions we do have out here. But with that being the case, it is being reflected in the numbers. Our inventory right now in Eagle River is 1.8 months worth of inventory, and that's pretty significant. Historically, anything under 3 months worth of inventory is considered more of a seller's market, and we're definitely seeing it's more of a stronger seller's market here, which just means that there's less options for buyers, and so the sellers kind of have a little bit of an upper hand as far as that goes. So it's a little bit more of a seller's market, not a lot of inventory, but how much compared to last year? Well, compared to the same time period last year, from June 15th up to July 15th, we're actually seeing a drop in the number of houses on the market by 26%. So that's obviously pretty significant. Now, I do understand some people are definitely going to be thinking, well, that's the number of total active. How about the number of houses that have come onto the market since the pandemic has lifted? Are we seeing a huge surge in inventory because a lot of people back in April and May decided, we want to wait, let's wait midsummer till we get a feel for what's going on, and then we get it on the market. Are we seeing a big surge as far as that goes? That's what I would have expected. And actually what we're seeing is there's a drop in the number of new houses going onto the market, again from mid-June up to mid-July, of 31%. So the overall number of houses on the market has dropped, and the number of new houses that are coming on the market has dropped as well. And the number of properties that are in contract during that time, or they've gone into contract, has only gone down 6% though. So we're seeing 26% less inventory, 31% less number of new active listings, only a 6% drop in the number of contracts that have, houses that have gone under contract during that time. So that's actually good. That means our market's moving along just fine. It does mean we just have less inventory though. Okay, so we've looked at the total number of active listings on the market, the number of houses that have come onto the market during that time as new listings, and kind of the number of properties that have gone under contract during that time. How about the number of houses that have actually closed during this time? It might be a surprise, we're actually up 36% from where we were this time last year, from mid-June up to the present time. So there's still a lot of business to be had out there, and a lot of opportunities, just because people still do want to make a move happen and they're motivated to do it, and the numbers are reflecting that. Now, what's the sold volume that we have so far? Now, what volume is that just says the total dollar amount that we have worth of real estate that's sold during this time. It might surprise you. We're actually up in this category by 43%. So again, good indication. Less inventory, but there's still more properties that are selling, and they're doing pretty well. Kind of dovetailing into that is the fact that we've actually seen the average price of properties that have sold during this time increase by 5%. And that's something we would expect just because we have less inventory. So as a seller, that's going to be great for you because that means that there are less options out there and there's an opportunity to get a little bit more than you might have been able to get before just because there's less competition. As a buyer, that just means you have to be more prepared for multiple offer situations and have your ducks in a row for how you're going to win in a multiple offer situation if it's a good property. We'll get into more on that in just a couple minutes. Has this been useful for you so far? If it has, you know what to do. Make sure that you give this video a like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure that if you have any questions that you want to have answered directly, make sure that you post those down in the comments down below or reach out to me directly through the link to my Facebook page down in the description. Now, without further ado, let's jump into a couple more things we really need to look at to understand what's going on in the Eagle River real estate market. Now, the inventory being so low, I really wanted to run a report and just see what the supply and demand is right now, not just for the properties that have sold, but for the other properties that haven't sold or have struggled to sell as well, because we want to see what the trend is during this month, because it's pretty critical for the real estate market here in the area. For the properties that did sell, what we're seeing is that the average sold price is about rounding up, about $388,000. So not too bad, not too shabby at all, really. Now, the interesting thing is the average days on market is only 36 days. So that means for the properties that are priced to where they need to be, on the market, off the market, pretty quick, because that's going to be all the different price ranges kind of rolled in together right there. So with that being the case, you do see how it's so important to make sure the property is priced to where it needs to be quickly, because they actually end up selling and able to do it a lot faster. Kind of looking at the properties that have gone under contract over the course of the past month, pretty reflective of those that have sold. It's about 32 days is going to be the average days on market. It's a little higher because their average is right around 412,000, but then again, we don't know exactly what's going to end up closing for. So it's probably going to come in pretty close to about that 388,000 when it's all said and done. Now, the last sector that I really like to look at to kind of get a feel for what's going on in the Eagle River market is how are the expired listings doing? In other words, the ones that are just sitting on the market and eventually they just expire and they're off the market. For Eagle River, the average sale price in this category is $594,000. So huge price difference between that and the properties that actually sell or go under contract, as you can see. And the average days on market for properties in this price range, over 250 days. So huge difference there. Luckily, there are only 4 houses in Eagle River that have expired over the course of that time. So what we see is just during this time, it is really important that when you have a larger property, you've got it priced to where it needs to be, and you just don't play around very much, because there is lots of opportunities out there to sell properties right now in Eagle River. It's just got to be priced correctly. Otherwise, it's just going to be kind of a story of the have and have-nots here, because there's a huge gap between those that sell and those that do not, just looking at the days on market. And the longer you're on market, the less likely it is you're going to get a good deal, because people start wondering what's wrong with your house, and they start becoming a lot bolder when they start asking for more closing expenses. So to sum it all up, what does this mean for the real estate market in Eagle River? Well, it means that if you're selling, it's a great time. If you're a buyer, it's a good time as well because the interest rates are low. If you are a buyer, though, you need to be ready to compete if you see a house that you really do like, because the chances are in Eagle River, there's going to be some multiple offers on the table if it's a good property, because as we've seen, if it's a good property, gone pretty quick. If it's not, it's going to sit there for quite a while. So those are going to be the big takeaways. We're really holding pretty strong for the moment, just because we do have a whole lot less inventory. We'll see if that changes in the future, but that's where we're at right now. Well, this has been your real estate market update for Eagle River, Alaska. If you do have any questions, make sure that you post those down below. or make sure that you reach out to me directly through the link to my Facebook page, which again is going to be down in the description.